Jews in the house?
Come on out, you rapist!
Wow.
Ya Allah, ya Allah. 1 2 1 2 infidels, where we at? Infidels, where we at? Yes, you know what it is, infidels. Hacker Hamin, back with my OVW brother, the veteran, on the scene, ready to break it down. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Plenty of notes to punch it all up. We're here live, twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Bin Hamin YouTube channel, and exclusively at channelattitude.com, infidels. Value-added bonus. Light them up. YOLO. Yeah, man, back in the house for sure. You know who it is. And glad to have my man jump in the trenches with me this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me, as we're rocking it live to break down the show that, I don't know, the good, the bad, les bien, les mal. It's the veteran. How you doing this afternoon, Vet? Good to see you, pal.
Well, it's still morning for me, Ben, so don't you worry about that. It's always morning somewhere, but I'm good. I'm good. Other than watching this show, I'm good.
Yeah, man. I had a good time hanging with, the Hamin, the HMGGG unit soldiers last night in the live chat watch along, but there's just like so many choices, even in WWE, that were like, all right, you get there, but it's the wrong presentation, the wrong setup for max value. And like, it's somewhat not predictable. It's what you want to happen. It's the road to get there doesn't set up the joke or set up the event how it should. You know what I mean? In WWE this week, it was Logan Paul with Impulsive after they started the show hot, and then he comes back to have a talk show.
Yeah, what was that?
And he's calling out Miz, and Miz isn't coming, and Miz isn't doing that. We have dead air until Maurice walks out. That's not the move. The move is, okay, if you're going to start hot, then that's it. Then that's that, right? And whatever. And we can keep that throughout the night. But you don't come back and do a talk show. So even if we didn't start hot and we were doing a talk show, Logan Paul should have had it booked that his guest was Maurice and brings her out, that's what would incite the Miz. They just trip and they stumble down the trail till we finally get to it. I don't know how these setups are missed. It's not like they take a bunch of extra work. It's just simple writing. And then last night and last week with Dynamite and what happened this week, I could say the same exact thing with Danhausen and Hook. Danhausen should not be getting bumped around. Danhausen is comedy. He should have accepted the challenge in a roundabout way that leaves the verbiage open-ended but insinuated. Danhausen comes out for the match like he's going to enter, cuts the comedy promo-hausen at the top of the ramp. They roll the footage to see that it's an open challenge, and then Hook comes down. Hook coming down to pick the bones off of Ricky Starks after he's selling a neck injury is not getting Hook over. Like, they popped on it. It'll do whatever, but we didn't have the tension of Taz like, oh my God, what the fuck has Danhausen done putting my guys pitting against each other? Like, Taz was just like, hey, it's the way it goes, pal. Like, the road to get there and then to bump Danhausen. Danhausen should not be getting bumped. He should not be getting beat. He should be doing character and outfoxing people. And Ricky Starks, that's not an up for him to get over on Danhausen, bro. You know what I mean? So that on both shows, they get to where they want to go. The intention is there. The setup is preschool shitting in your pants and finger painting on the walls with it bad, bro.
Well, isn't that the story with the entire business today? I mean, ultimately, when you're running a wrestling company, you can book whatever you want, but they all seem like they're on you know, like you said, the road to get there, it seems like their foot is on the gas the entire time. They don't set anything up. They're being reckless. They're acting like the entire business is going to shut down tomorrow and this is going to be their last show. Yeah. And it just might be if they keep doing it like this. How now you mentioned Monday Night Raw, and you're completely right. You don't start with a fight and then move to calmly talking across the ring from each other, even if it is 3 hours later and everybody's had a chance to calm down. Right. But that was one of no less than 3, maybe even 4, like scenes where somebody's like brawling and needs to get pulled apart somehow. You had the Rey Mysterio anniversary party. Like, they just kept doing this. It seemed like they were desperate. Like, please don't stop paying attention to our show. Look, fights. It's right. Like, yeah, well, your whole sport is fighting, so I'm not impressed. This happens all of the time. It almost
do a phony fight on a legitimately, epic career makes that setup of the epicness now seem like phony bullshit. Like, you gotta you give that dude his props and MSG and fucking cut it. Don't go right into the match there with, Finn Balor looking like the new gay pirate gimmick or whatever he's doing, bro. Like that Ray has his moment there in the back. We can start something, but we need to let that song finish before we drop the needle on the next one.
Yeah. So, but for AEW, this is just, it's hot-shotting since day 1. Hot-shotting since day 0 is hot-shotting since day negative 135. They just came out the gate doing whatever they want. And it kind of like some things, sometimes I do see how it could be tough, though, for Tony in the position he's in where he receives all this criticism from every direction, because sometimes they'll be like, I can't believe you just hot-shotted this. And he'll be like, okay, I'm going to do a long-term thing. So he does a long-term thing and like, oh my God, pull the trigger already. So like, no matter what he does, it's always wrong. Whether it's an execution or just that people are so not even trying to give him a chance. But I think for the most part, the biggest problem is
long-term business to get guys over. And then when he does it right, like Wardlow couldn't be any more cooled off right now. They do all the big build right, and then we do nothing to get it to the where we need to get.
Also not on the show tonight.
Yeah, also not on the show.
Yeah, so, but what can we say? We say the same things every time. It doesn't matter if I do this show with you 2 weeks in a row or we take 2 months apart before we get back together and convene and discuss this, but it seems like we're always saying the same things.
Yeah, dude. And really, I mean, format's been an issue. I don't know if it was in this one. This show had a lot of hogs on it, bro. And it kicked right off with the biggest one. We listen to Cornette, we listen to K100, Russo brand, obviously, and HMG. Not many other people I pay too much attention to, and Cornette has been controversial as he always is, but he has said that Moxley is the worst wrestler in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I can see that.
You kind of gotta back it up and go with it after what we say here tonight, bro, because James Dean, cool, absolutely. Functionally safe and could work great, definitely. Any idea about psychology or how to put something together the right way? None at all. Absolutely ego driven to be on the first in the card and eat up everything for everybody else, 100%. So those other things about being good at the craft, being able to throw things safely, if you don't put them in the right place or you're turning around and burying them, your psychology will quickly do a disservice for that and expose you as like CZW DJ Hyde level rotten. And not getting it, bro. Not getting it at all. So, yeah, DJ buried forever with me after Snake. Never will I put that guy over. And here we are with Color in the first match. Dives to the outside. There's only one thing that can follow Color. A world title changing hands. Guess what? You're the world champ and you won. So now you just ate up everything. You ate up the highest spot in 3 minutes. And if you are world champ and you don't know that, you don't know that you're part of the greater experience of the show for the fans. Well, and you're doing that, you don't understand anything about this business. And I don't care how high you've been up on the card, who you faced, or how many WrestleManias you've been on. When I see things like that, they are absolutely tone deaf completely. And when they've seen it already, by the time Rampage rolls around, that's what your crowd looks like. Because you ate everything on the fucking buffet before anybody else got to even have a sniff of what to do on the show. And you burnt the crowd out. They've seen color. Now in the opening and closing, what else is there for them to stay there for, bro? Like, go ahead, please.
Well, if anybody who heard Jim Cornette explain calling Moxley the worst wrestler in the business, he wasn't saying he was literally the worst. Of course there's worse wrestlers than him, but I think his point is that got to the level that he got. Like of anybody that's ever got to that level, he is, the worst wrestler today. And I'm not sure if I agree 100%, but I don't refute any of his points. I've been saying Jon Moxley is the shit since the beginning. Sure. He's had exactly one good match in his entire career, and guess who that was with?
Probably Chris Jericho.
Triple H.
Oh, there you go.
On a random pay-per-view like Roadblock or something in 2016 or something. I don't even remember when it was, but I remember watching that match. I was like, wow, Moxley had a good match for once. Dude, anyways, moving on.
Go back and look at the laundry list. Gets a shot to be on Stone Cold's podcast. Embarrasses himself.
Shit the bed, yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And what about working with Brock? At Mania, Brock was like, I'm not working with this clown, so he just ate him alive and left him there.
Yeah. And we got away from the rock back second rope, get your shit in, to where he was actually functional. Now we're retarded all the way back to that, bro. We've gone back 3-4 steps, and now we're just doing this Japanese wrong style, dong style dojo where I'm on the cell for 2, but I can rock back and I'm instantly alive and I'm Supermaning up and I'm beating everybody. And then I'm fucking kicking out of pile drivers instead of tease pile driver, out wrestle it, use leverage, insinuate the move instead of burying it. Because then when the main event, we're going to bury it again. It's just everything that a world champion should be, and putting a match together was as indie-rific ignorant last night as possibly could be. And it was in the first spot on the show. And like from there, it's just like fucking, hey, I'm going to run a marathon. But before I do that, let me shoot myself in the foot with a 22. Oh, okay, cool. Excellent.
Good idea. So I was intrigued to see this match because whenever I watch Dynamite, I am ready to hit fast forward and watch it in 2x speed at any given moment, right? And I usually watch most of the show like that. And I only slow it down for stuff I want to see. So I was fully ready to hit the 2x speed on this, and then I remember, oh yeah, this is the match with Moxley and Rush, and so I was intrigued by this because, true or not, Rush has a reputation of not playing well with others at times.
Okay.
So I wanted to see how he was going to approach this match with with 2 guys that fucking refuse to sell. I was wondering, how is this going to go? And it went, pretty much what I expected.
Let me ask you this. Why the hell is Rush getting a title shot?
Oh, I don't know, but who cares? Why does anybody do anything? We're beyond sense at this point.
You'd think if you're in the upper echelon that you'd have an online story going. So we have this big banger match with color and everything else and yada, yada, yada. And of course the champ is up because this guy's getting a match for no reason. So then out comes fucking Jericho with the Jericho Appreciation Society. That's the business, right? The match now means nothing. We did all that shit to get to this talking segment that is truly what Al Snow would say is the business of the segment. The match meant 0.
Yeah, it ultimately it did. But in the match, so I was watching it carefully with that in mind, just to see what they did, and it was kind of funny to see like a little bit of the, I don't know what you want to call it, one-upsmanship. Obviously, Moxley can't shoot a lick, so if Roosh wanted to go into business for himself at any point in this match, there's not shit he can do about it because he's only a fake tough guy. But I did notice this though. Roosh kicks out of the finish, and then gets choked out, right? So like to me, that's like, I'm thinking, okay, in his mind, he's compromising, like that looks better. For me, I would rather be knocked out for 3 seconds than look like I was weak enough to get fully incapacitated and the referee has to stop the match for me. But for some reason, some guys just would not rather lay down for the pin. I don't get it, but that's what I perceived. I don't know if you saw that, but that's kind of what I perceived. Like, yeah. So that was kind of like Roosh's little, he thinks he's getting over like on Moxley by kicking out of the finish, but then ultimately he kind of looks weaker to me in that instance. So
yeah.
I don't know what the mentality is with these guys these days. I can't say these days, because I'm sure there was bullshit like that throughout the history of worked wrestling, of people just thinking I'm not going to do this, but I'll do this. And you're like, okay, do that. You look dumber anyway. So who knows? But that was the interesting point for me. That's what I got out of it. So
we got some other choices for gimmick rebrands. Bobby Roosh, Rusev, Roosh Bag was one last night. Moulin Rouge. I like the Red Rooster. Ooh. I think that's
I don't know if he can get that over though.
But El Pollo will rise again. But yeah, the other thing is, I don't understand whatever Mexican lucha shit. Like, I get guys with the masks and the whole thing. I'm down with that. But this come out in an entrance with a mask on to take it off stuff is the stupidest thing to me. Like I just don't like it.
It's just a little something different. It's no different than a guy wearing a robe or a cape or any of the other shit just for your entrance. Vader used to wear a giant weird mastodon robot helmet.
I was gonna say Kamala's about the only one I would.
Kamala, yeah, big tribal mask thing. It's been done. There's a precedent,
I guess. But shocker, Moxley's up. A Jericho Appreciation Society comes out, cuts a big promo, and then Mox goes into biz to say, I hate this sports entertainment bullshit, yada, yada, yada. Oh, he's so controversial, don't you know? And then after the match, they're on a roll as well. They're going to beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan, too. One thing with Regal on commentary, he's taking a fucking pile driver and kick it out, and Regal goes, we've trained that you turn your head to the side and it takes away a lot of the impact. That's why he was able to do that. Really, that's Regal looking at JR going, are you fucking seeing these morons, bro, kicking out of pile drivers instead of wrestling out of them? And
JR's like, you must be new here, kid.
Yeah.
Bro, dude, I think Tony should bonus all the announcers for having to cover for all the stuff they see.
But he don't know. Tony don't know either. He's just accepting that as normal commentary. But the guys like you and I who know, that's him. They don't even have to say nothing. They just fucking look down at each other while they're talking and fucking keep going, bro. They look at that just like we look at this match, if not with even more disdain, because they're the ones having to sell it on the mic with, oh, we've trained to turn your head slightly, and it'll take a lot of the power.
I thought he was going to say, we've been doing extra neck bridges and other things like that. I didn't know he was going that route with it.
What the fuck, bro? Because he don't know it's coming, and he's got to cover for this, how stupid it is. He's got to cover for their lack of in-ring knowledge by trying to actually explain a psychological move in a way that's
imagine being a William Regal protege for however many years, or at least have a speaking relationship with him, and just being as bad as you are still. You know what I mean? I'm referring to Moxley here.
I agree. But the Sunset Flipper himself's in the house.
Whoa.
It's Big Surge. He says, AEW Galaxy, appreciate me. So even though in this promo they're trying to get over AEW Galaxy as a rib on WWE Universe, galaxies are smaller than universes. And now when you call yourself that, you make yourself look small.
Well,
Oh, great stuff. Great
yes.
stuff.
Yep.
I love it. What up, Big Surgzilla, though? The fat chick Thrilla. Let's see here. It was announced that the Trios Championships are coming. There will be a tournament to create the first championships at AEW's All. Fans have been asking for a Trios Championship, have they?
No.
Have people been clamoring for it? I did pop though when they cut to the desk, and Taz goes, "We're not the first Trios champ, even though it looks like all the belts are in front of JR and Shivani and him." I was like, "Fuck it, I'd back those guys more than anybody else on the goddamn roster, and I'd figure a way to book it." And like right away, they all should have gone, "You know what? Fuck that. We're the fucking Trios champions. I haven't had a belt in years, Tony. My first." And we find out a Three Stooges way for them to keep it in a very lumpy Magoo kind of way, bro.
Yeah, that's one way to go. Because we definitely need to get less serious on this program. I know there's too many belts, and I know that it's stupid. However, something like a Trios, when you've got a company that's so big and has been in the beginning, because you've got such a big roster, you need to get a lot of shitty sixes on TV, especially to bury somewhere in the middle of the show, right? This is a way that you can promote it like, hey, we have a title match every single week. If you use these Trios titles as like the TV championship, then that could give them some value, because there's always going to be a 6-man you can have with some combination of people. So that's what I would do if I was going to do this. If I were going to do this Trios thing, I would make it like a weekly title defense, because nothing means anything anyway, so you might as well.
It's got to be in a highlighted spot. Like, the main event of Rampage is going to be that, and we tell the story to get to the point, and then it's like a King of the Mountain type thing where who's going to step up, and it's not just like, oh, we need all trio tag teams. Could be a mismatch of guys, could be two guys and they go get a legend, could be whatever, what the story is. Well, you don't know until that week. Like, that could create a little intrigue, I think, and maybe even, at the top of the hour.
Yeah, one of those things like leading into hour 2, if that stuff even matters. I don't know what they're up against, so it doesn't.
Isn't Rampage just an hour, I think?
I mean, if you wanted to use them on Dynamite, you could use them leading into the second hour or something like that. Sure. Or just put on Rampage, like you said. There's a bunch of ways to do with it, but I think if you're gonna go with it, we gotta go with it. Trios every week in some form or fashion. Let's get a title match every single week.
I mean, what are you going to see? You're going to see how many shotgun finishes can you fucking see? Like that. That's
as many as they can do, that have been doing ever since indie wrestling's been a thing.
I got you. Let's see. Dante Martin is backstage and he says Sammy can't hack it on the roster anymore, and he has been taking a vacation while he's been working all the time. But he'll have Sky Blue in his corner, and we're like. What the fuck, bro? Out of nowhere, Dante Martin, it's the big match. And oh, yeah, Sky Blue, everybody, is going to be out there. Who?
Yeah, he didn't even, it was very unceremonious, wasn't it? She just kind of was like there and was just like, I'm just here because he asked me.
AYBYCY. D, show don't tell. So if fucking they're even not together or going to do a love angle, or he's a confirmed bachelor and, whatever, I don't know. But your actors act. Is she a love interest? Is she a chick who wants to get on TV? Is she a gold digger? Is she a damsel in distress? We don't know. She just walks into the scene. There's 100 things we could have done voyeuristically where he's hitting on her or whatever, and she kisses him, and now he's love struck or whatever, dude. But like, this was indie horrible. Like, no reason, no nothing, no setup. You have a TV show, and we're not doing a TV show when we do this type of stuff.
Yeah, it's just a filmed indie. So, but people have seen Sky Blue here and there, but it's just not only have she not done anything of note other than quick enhancement matches, but just the way he said it was like you're not even making her sound like she's somebody. He's just like, and I'm gonna have Sky Blue with me. Like instead of saying and coming out with me tonight, I got some backup, ladies and gentlemen, Sky Blue. Like even if no one cares, that's still how you would try to get it over. But it's Dante Martin. What the we don't pay Dante Martin to act or talk or do anything except jump off stuff. So
right, and even if where the heat is, he's like, Sammy, you're obviously a sex addict. You switched from your fiance to this freak of the week. Over here, I go, so keep your eyes off my lady because she's actually she's classy, not a hoe like these chicks you hang out with. Yeah. Like, let's get something over if she's a virtuous chick compared to the slutty one who's going to get beat down by the slutty heels, then we got to paint her as the pretty princess, right? So none of that got done, bro.
Nope.
None of that. Then we get Danhausen, Ricky Starks. Obviously, Ricky Starks has all the tools to be a great talent, and at the end of this, we finally get to the business. We do too much business in this segment, really. Like I said, Danhausen never should have been touched. It should have been a swerve to get to Hook, getting to the match and winning the title. It could have gone a little longer because Danhausen wouldn't have eaten up some of the offense, and getting heat on Danhausen makes Starks the heel, so I get it, but he already kind of was. The reaction from Taz wasn't there. He should have been more torn down the middle, and he was just kind of happy, like, hey, it's a win for Team Taz either way, brother. Like, and then the fist bump at the end was okay, I guess, on the way out. Crowd pop big when he won, so I won't say that the reaction wasn't there, but we just took that's 60%, but they'll be patting themselves on the back like, we fucking popped them huge, we did it. Well, you could have got even more out of it, bro. You really could have. Go ahead.
Kind of getting the heat on Hobbs and kind of getting sympathy for Starks. I don't like that. Do you like that?
I thought Starks's promo where he's kind of like, fuck you for giving me 40 seconds. I'm more than that. I'm a bigger talent. Like, a lot of people were like, is he leaving for NXT? Which he seems very WWE, you know what I mean, in his presentation.
Sure.
And I could see him doing that, but they're obviously going to a program here, and Hobbs has just worked his ass off to get in incredible Hulk level shape. And you know me, I'm about heat. So I was like, all right, even with the Starks promo, it was too much. But then Hobbs getting heel heat to leave it that way kind of hit the usual suspects chord at the end for me and cut it off. Instead of like, now I'm baby, everybody. We actually did a little show don't tell there. You know what I mean? With the violence.
Yeah, well, I guess what I was getting at is more so like, I'm not really interested in Starks as a sympathetic character. I prefer him to be even more over the top and arrogant and prickish than he has been. I mean, that's when he's having the most fun, and I think that's a good role for him. I think things played out the way they did because they knew there would be some kind of a turn at the end. Alternatively to what you laid out, I would have said you could have had a match with Danhausen, and you could have had Starks take it a little bit too far, which brings out Hook. Because it's like, okay, now you're needlessly torturing this helpless person or whatever the case may be. That right. Doesn't work, though, if he's turning face at the end or whatever the case is. So can't really go with that. But I just I just don't see the mileage in Starks as a face. I think he can pull anything off, and people do like him. They want to like him, but they like him because he's a cool heel. And then when he's trying to be a pandering, like, well, if he does go with that, if he acts the exact same, I guess, I don't know.
I think he can be cool like Randy Orton, even though he's a little bit more, sharp tongue on the mic. I think you could do it and make him the cool baby or heel as a baby. And then when he needs to go back and turn on a made baby face who's more cheesy, it'll be believable. I think think he's in a decent spot because he's got the muscle, the sex appeal, the Adonis thing going on. It won't be hard to switch him back the other way if need be, but at least we got some heat. Somebody got some heat. But again, the segment's overbooked because we got the gimmick babyface Danhausen. Then he's selling the neck big, so everyone thinks he's injured empathy-wise. Then Hook comes down to beat him. Hook is a baby, but is now beating a heel who's injured, which is a baby thing to do. So Hook doesn't look as strong as he could have if he would have taken the whole match and it was competitive, and he catches him. And then we could have gotten to the other stuff, but and a heel turn, a baby turn.
So much. And then it's like by the end of all that, it's kind of like Hobbs hits him with the clothesline. It's like, anyway, so if you want to stop shark fin trading, like there's no time for any of this to like really sink in. They just have to move on quickly off of every single thing. And I think that's one of the things that subconsciously, like we see it consciously, but I think a lot of just normal fans subconsciously when they're watching this, they're kind of like nothing seems to be important because you could have something that's supposed to be like, it should be catastrophic. It should be like the anchor point of the show, like that everything revolves around this, and then they just go to break and come back with something else like it never happened. Like there's no real urgency or seriousness to anything. Everything is just like, well, that's what we planned. Anyway, next segment.
Right.
And that hurts AEW. Like can we follow up on some stuff? Like, hey, look, can we see if Ricky Starks is okay? Can we get a word with Ricky Starks? Can we get a word with Hobbs? I guess nobody's interested in interviewing Hobbs after, doing that. Or we're certainly not interested in Taz getting up from the desk and say, hey, brother, what the hell was that? We're not interested in any of that because we've got to get to what's next, Ben. What happened next on this?
What is next? After the men, that was Shivani. The Acclaimed. We got the Acclaimed backstage, so we got to get to it. This was a lot of left on the table and all produced in one segment when it could have been 3 segments across the show and would have been a lot more cinematic and added a lot more turns throughout the show. A couple of things people were saying during the watch along last night, and I can't fault them. I mean, Starks is in great body shape condition wise, so is Hook, but for their age. But you watch it, and I look like, hey, who are the guys from the fucking Aeropostale at the mall fighting? Like, these don't look like men to me, bro. And like, I'm biased being grizzly and whatever, but I grew up around pro lumberjacks. Like, I seen what men's men look like, and these guys can look like underwear models all they fucking want, but the guys I know would come down and fucking smack you one time in the side of your head and you will be down, out cold on your fucking knees, bro. So to see these dudes are like these are the fuck the world champions. Oh, bro, I'll show you some fuck the world motherfuckers that like are real men, and instead of looking at 35 to 45-year-old dudes, we're looking at like, oh, here's some people playing wrestling a little bit.
I get that to one degree. I just think you can have one hook. The problem is we got like 30 hooks. You know what I mean? Sure. Like if you have one kid that's
Dante Martin, he's one. The Daniel Garcia in the main event is
right. So if you got one kid that's got his little, he's on the lean side. At least he's not super short, but he's on the lean side. He's got the little hair going on. Chicks dig him, and he's Taz's son. So that right off the bat, him being Taz's son explains like, well, he's gonna throw people around regardless of his size because that's the whole point of the martial art of judo. So you can buy that. Now there's a lot of guys running around that are hook size or smaller that there's no explanation for why they can do the things they do. They just do it. And we're going to talk about the main fucking event later. But like, it's okay to have one hook, and you could have a Danhausen too, because he's a gimmick, but then you got a Dante Martin, and then you got a Daniel Garcia, and then you got the 2.0 guys, and then you got, like there's way too many of those guys. But
yeah, how's Private Party supposed to do their thing when you got Swerve Scott? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be able to. And it's the racist WWE side of it. Well, we already got one black guy who does a ton of fucking flips, like, and then we got 2 others, and now we got a tag team of them. Like, you know, like you're gonna get lost in the mix, man. You know, it's just how it is.
Which, speaking of Private Party, what was Mark Quinn thinking changing? Like, I know keep maintaining his hair has probably got to be a pain in the ass, but now he looks just like Isaiah Cassidy with a regular haircut. I didn't even recognize him at first. I was like, what happened to Mark Quinn? Did he get replaced? Oh, he got a haircut. Well, okay.
Yeah, nobody's making themselves stand out. Backstage. Oh, sorry. We got the Acclaim backstage talking about they're taking the trash out on Friday, the trash boys, the ass boys, and they're hinting that a music video is coming out about Gun Club. All right, we got to take a big break here. You and I are big hip-hop fans for life. And what they did last week with the live battle was like not what it could have been at all. And especially with the Billy Gunn's kid who can rap, he was made to look the fool. The live battle rap is the main event of this. Mm-hmm. What should have happened are diss rap videos like Hit 'Em Up, like fucking Who Shot Ya, like Ether, you know, before that leads to the live battle. Instead, we played the live battle out, got no heat beforehand that we could have controlled it in videos, sold those singles on the way to the live build where we had Jermaine Dupri and motherfucking Kevin Gates that took us on to TMZ and all that shit. Could have even had one of them host the battle rap, you know, of what was what. Instead, it was so lackluster. And dude, the Acclaimed are leaving $100,000, $200,000 on the table every year that they aren't doing these diss rap fucking videos. That should be at least a once a month thing where whoever they're in the feud with, the feud starts with a diss battle. You know what I mean? Or they diss somebody and somebody takes umbrage with it and comes at them based off of like they can't handle the fucking truth, you know, whatever it is. But those singles, if they're heavily produced with a video for YouTube, will sell to the fucking marks. If you can sell to 1 in 10 of your audience at 99 cents and you got 1 million people, that's $100,000 fucking dollars, bro. A month.
They can use it.
Dude, I just don't understand how these dudes have the spots, they have the talent, they get it, and then even if it's going into business for yourself, we're here to make money. You're not going to have this vehicle behind you the whole time. You've got to figure out how to exploit it to its max fucking value so you don't, A, have to take bumps until it really means something. You don't have to wrestle until it's absolutely mandatory, and you're fucking awesome on the mic. That's where your money is, your mouth is. So get it over and sell it. Just doing it in a segment is all you're earning for your paycheck. There's so much more opportunity for money to be made. And if you sell 100,000, Tony's going to want his cut, but give him his 20K and you split 80. You know, like it's that fucking easy and should be that inspired. But when wrestlers are in the bubble, they just don't say timeout. Let's get max value or see how to get max value out of it all, bro. Now this shit is done backwards and won't have nearly the payoff that it should have.
Yeah. Well, again, you're telling the entire story of the company, but we're just focusing on this one little aspect of it. And I think the question is, so now if the Gun Kid has to purposely rap worse than he can because that's the character, you know, is that why they just decided to sort of meh this whole thing? Because it's like, well, he's not really going to go out there and do a real rap battle.
He fucked up. Del Close, the godfather of improv, says, play to the height of your character's intelligence. His character is the all-encompassing, like you and I, of hip-hop. Do I need to go out there and go, my name's Ben Hamin, and I'm here to say...
Well,
shit. Like,
wait, are you talking about Gunn or Caster?
I'm talking about Gunn.
Because his character's an idiot.
He had a low stakes character can always move to a high stakes character. He was a low and mid stakes character and took himself even lower, and it ruined the scene. If he would have come out with the skills that he has, he should not have kayfabed that shit. He should have put it out there and spit hot fire like Eminem. So like now it's back and had some dope lines, and now we have some fucking teeth. Why would you want to not show your talent that could make you money and get you over just to serve the scene of like, white guys can't rap. Ha 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 ha. It's cultural appropriation. Well, boom. He should, as good as an MC as he is, he could have taken that, turned it, and flipped it right back on him once again about being light skinned or whatever the fuck he wants to. All I got to do is hit the tandem booth and I'll be as dark as you. Boom. Like, you know, like whatever he wants to do there. But instead we played it dummy way, and now their character doesn't have rap credibility and integrity to be going back and forth in a who shot ya fucking kind of way. That really pissed me off, dude, to be honest with you, because I don't expect a Big Show, Mark Henry, Arn Anderson, Jerry Lynn to be able to book the hip hop angle the right way. You know what I mean? And the reality is, in the diss videos, the Gun kids should have had dope fucking rhymes, and even Billy Gunn, they should have written something, and you have it on video. You have the time to make it really good. Billy Gunn could have got you with some who shot you on that if he wanted to. You're like, damn. And now we have hip hop. People were saying with Swerve too, it doesn't always have to be this back and forth. You could do the cypher with them where you have Kevin Gates, fucking Swerve, and the Acclaimed. Who's not buying that? This fucking guy has got 181 million fucking views on one of his songs on YouTube, bro. Like, get the real rub. And the real rub is the crossover of getting a verse off of him. It just is, it's unbelievable how fucking small-minded they are about their own marketing inside the bubble, bro. It really fucking kills me. And I can't wait to cut a promo about this to him on August 13th when he's at Immortal Championship Wrestling, because I want this guy to succeed. He's everything that you and I like about hip-hop that should be taken to the next level in wrestling. And now, sidebar, speaking of hip-hop, super not pissed off, but I watched the season 2 of Wu-Tang American Saga, and dude, the kid who plays RZA, yeah, he looks like young RZA. His cadence was fucking killing me, bro. Like how he was delivering lines, and you don't want to he's delivering them like DMX. RZA is much more fluid and whatnot in the way he speaks. It was getting me super hot, bro. I was like, what the fuck? He looks like RZA. Why wouldn't you stop and correct him before you begin season 2? Know what I mean, dog? And we're gonna do like this, huh? Like, you're just like, what the fuck? Dude, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah, that's not RZA.
It pissed me off. But the dude who plays fucking Raekwon is brilliant. The guy who plays Ghost is brilliant. The guy who plays Meth is pretty solid too. The guy who plays You God is good too. But I think the guy who plays Divine is actually the best actor on the show. Like, and because if you ever seen Divine talk, it's scary how close they are. But I like the guy who plays Raekwon too. He's pretty goddamn good.
I never watched that show, but people would tell me like, "Oh, you got to check out this Wu-Tang, check out this Wu-Tang." I was like, "Guys, you have to understand. I like the Wu-Tang Clan and their music and the guys, and I'm not interested in watching a show about that or watching people act like that. I don't need a dramatization. The of Mikes and Men doc was great,
sure,
but you know, I don't need to see kids playing these parts. I have no interest.
Well, actually, you know who really is a standout season 2 is ODB's son as Dirty.
Oh well,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it's there's good in it, but there's a lot of like, all right, RZA's trying to make a beat, and we spend 20 minutes on watching him punch it in. You know, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there's the foundation of Liquid Swords, cool. Like they waste a lot of time in it, but I guess for the masses who don't know, you know what I mean? Now they know. Then we get Sammy Guevara with Ty Conte versus Dante Martin with Sky Blue. Everybody gets their shit in nonstop. Sammy even tries to do the sexy boy pose. Obviously wasn't watching the opening match because Roosh did the sexy boy pose on the fucking ground. So nobody's watching anything, even when it's your get over shit. And now the show looks goofy as fuck. All kinds of dives back and forth. Dude, this Dante Martin kid, you know, I've talked about this before. They say there's 5 senses. There's far more than 5 senses. And when it comes to some of these in-ring athletes, a kid like Dante Martin, his sense of balance may be better than his sense of sight or smell because the way he fucking can jump to that top rope, stop, defy gravity and the laws of physics and land like he's Spider-Man, bro. It's very impressive, the athleticism. I don't want to take anything away from it. I do hate when they go back to like, oh, we did all this shit and now we're back to 50-50 throwing strikes and chops and nobody's selling shit. So by that time I'm already burnt out. But in the end, it's Sammy Guevara and the Mean Girls come in and get heat on Sky Blue after the match until they get run off by Ruby Soho, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston and run through the crowd.
Which, of course, because as soon as you see them putting the boots of Sky Blue, I'm like, all right, who's coming out? Like, it's that predictable. You can bet that my finger was firmly on the 2x speed as soon as I saw that Sammy Guevara and Dante Martin were coming out. I have no interest in either of these gentlemen. Sammy Guevara is dead to me. He's almost been dead on arrival since he had the panda hat, but I gave him a chance anyway, and now he's dead to me anyway. And Dante Martin, I have no interest.
Yeah, I mean, this is the high flyer, get your shit in spectacular, but we already had that in the opening match. So, you know, then they didn't get color, so this meant less. Sanjay Dutt tries to create an excuse for Jay Lethal out back, and they're talking about the best friends, and the best friends walk in and go, you didn't see us over there with these tie-dye suits, track suits on 6 feet away, like ribbing that wrestling is phony and that this is a setup. Like, I don't like that open game talk like that, bro. And I also don't like grown-ass men looking like fucking fools when there's far more money on Trent Beretta, you know, and as a high-level character, the guy's...
There's zero money on Trent Beretta.
No, dude, he's good, bro.
Zero money. No dollars.
I disagree.
No dollars. Yeah, he's washed. He's dead to me. He never really had anything, and he's certainly lost whatever he did have now. Take it from a guy who's paid close attention to his career for, what's it been, 14, 15 years now, and he's never done jack shit. Yeah, sorry, time's up. Go back, get your mom to pick you up and take you home.
But this whole segment is like a rib on wrestling where Sanjay gets sucked into making a 6-man match versus these guys for Rampage, and then some more comedy hijinks of what did you do, brother, and the Giants.
Did he at the end? I thought I heard Sanjay like saying like he wanted to get out of it, like he was trying to get out of it.
Yeah,
is that what it was? Like, oh, I didn't mean to make a match. Like, why didn't you stop me?
Why didn't you stop me? He's like,
yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, this rib on wrestling while you're in wrestling, that shit doesn't really impress me.
What? Yeah, like, oh, I don't have Satnam Singh behind me. I don't want to have a match. Like, he could kill those guys, you know, by himself.
Right.
So
exactly, it doesn't make sense. Jungle Boy appears, comes in the ring, and says Christian Cage is the biggest pussy he's ever met in his life. He's watched him talk bullshit about his family, which is why he's now the most relevant he's ever been. But when he returned, Christian ran away. He didn't know why he was so angry and claims that Christian was strapped for cash and needed the money when he was eliminated from the Battle Royal, claiming that Christian Cage's wife was divorcing him. So what are we getting here? We're getting, the return and fire of your dad's dead, I'll fuck your mom, like heavy duty, shoot, bang, bang. Well, you got divorced. I like it. This is the shit I think this is where all of wrestling should be. Not just gonna go, can they say pussy on TV? Yeah, pussy, bro. Say it. So that's how men talk. Yeah, call him a cocksucker, call him whatever the fuck you want to call him, dude. Everybody swears. You can go to fucking any kindergarten and the kids telling the teacher to fuck off pretty much at the end of the day. It's 2022. I don't know why we still have to hold on to this Leave It to Beaver 1952 fucking bullshit, bro. Fuck that noise. I want how men really act in the real world in the locker room. And if you don't want to swear, then don't, and stand out and make a funny joke out of it, where, you know, you're substituting other words in there that are not offensive, but we get the cadence of it. Like, there's plenty of ways around it. But anybody who's like, they just saying pussy to say it. No, dude.
You know, the biggest misconception I think that everybody has is that family friendly equals childish. It doesn't have to.
No.
Things can be tasteful and adult and mature without resorting to sophomoric language or antics. Like, it can be, you can do things that will get people invested without offending anybody, really. So it's just, are you that good of a creative talent? So
right, absolutely. Well, it gets very creatively strange as Jungle Boy is vamping and Christian's supposed to be interrupting him, but he doesn't see him up on the Titantron, and Christian's trying to cut him off, and he keeps going. He goes, and I had a shovel, and I was standing in a hole with my Uncle Harry, and tears were turning to mud. And I'm like, are you? And he goes, as I dug my father's grave. I go, dug your father's fucking grave?
Sorry, kid. Our normal guy didn't show up.
Yeah, here, grab the shovel, dig your old man's plot, bro. Like, I'm going, what the fuck is going on? But then Christian says he can get cozy with Dad because he's going to bury him right next to him, and they can rot.
Oh, yeah, that was
great.
See, now that's another example of. I mean, I know Christian's a heel, but you're saying you're going to murder the kid on TV. You know you can't deliver on that promise, so it's kind of pointless to say shit like that. But
yeah, you can't deliver on actually killing him unless this whole thing's leading to a buried alive match, I guess.
He's still not going to die.
Bury Luchasaurus, and maybe gas prices will go down. We'll get some fucking oil money back. But yeah, some funny, weird things on this, like the visual as he's trying to trail off an improv. You had to dig your old man's grave. Like, you guys chop down a white pine and build him a fucking box too, and throw him in that, nail him and lower him in.
It was a long weekend.
It was a family weekend. How Dad wanted it. But maybe Luke Perry is that fucked up that in his will he said, I want my son to dig my grave.
It's okay if he uses me for heat later.
He's not getting a cent unless he digs the old man's hole. 8 seconds to ride. It's Cutler Cam time. And the Young Bucks hear about the trio's tourney, and they make it Brandon would never be their partner. And they end up walking into Hangman Page, who's chewing water like Vince McMahon. And then they allude to, hey, I've been wanting to talk to you, buddy. Happy birthday. Hey, isn't your birthday the birthday of birthdays and birthday? Yeah. Then Dark Order rush in. Hey, buddy, so here's the setup. The cool kids who fucking were friends with a cool kid who was friends with the nerds alienate him because he was nice to the nerds. Now they want to bring that cool kid back into the fold when they need him, but the nerds are still attached to him, and the cool kids can't be seen to deal with the lower level nerds. So we're literally doing the 7th graders versus the 8th graders right now, bro. Like, this is as low as it gets from players who are much better than this.
Again, the story of AEW. It's like, yeah. I feel like I keep saying the same thing.
Highlight of the night, Tony Nese and Mark Sterling versus Swerve Strickland. Big pop for Mark Sterling's Captain America get up. Good coming out. I like this guy, man. He pops me. Tony Nese looks awesome. Swerve Strickland, obviously a phenomenal athlete and musician. And he keeps going. They work the gimmick, and this is why I like this. Strickland tries to get his hand on Sterling, and he can't, and it's just very Heenan-esque and worked. And then Tony Nese gets a kick to the face where his legs were on the bottom rope, and Strickland dives over to take him out properly. Swerve and Sterling then get in the ring as he hits a big back kick to the side of the head. Swerve Strickland for the win.
Did it look like on that finish that Tony Nese dove in way too early?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I can't break it up. Well, he still hasn't pinned him. Okay, now he's pinning him. Oh shit, he pinned him.
You got to cramp sometimes.
Yeah, something.
Backstage, Keith Lee was taken out, and Josh Wood just standing over him, looking dominant as Strickland looks on. Nice charges in from behind, gets his heat back on him. Then we get a House of Black video package. I didn't see this where Brody King challenges Darby Allin to a coffin match. It wasn't on my feed.
It was part of Aleister Black. You know how he comes out and he says, you know, his little promo in the dark, and then like another guy will step out from the dark.
Yeah.
That's what Brody did.
I like that. I like that look. I think it's a good little, signature production wise. I like it. But Brody King had, I said this last week, that him versus Darby was one of the most perfect matches I'd seen on AEW, bro. So I was like, Darby, if Darby goes under here and Brody goes over on him, this is fucking going to be really good. And they worked it the right way, took all the heat, gave him his small comebacks till he just powered and shut him down. And that, I love that hangman choke with his legs dangling, bro. That shit is awesome. Like, it was a fucking really good match last week. So I definitely will be interested to see, because now when Darby beats him, it's a real accomplishment. He choked you out. He threw you around. He can do it again, and you're coming back for another one. But the coffin match is Darby's specialty or whatever. He should go over. So, and even so, Brody could go over in that, and it wouldn't hurt Darby at all, because he keeps coming back to try and tear down the Giant.
Yeah. I think Darby's bulletproof at this point.
Yeah, I think Brody should go over in this match too.
I wouldn't mind if Darby went over, but
me neither. But
either way works because he's a gimmick. So
sure,
when you're gonna get what you paid for when you show up to see Darby. There's a lot of imagery that Darby uses of like him being dead. Not only how he paints his face and everything like that, but the coffin and having Brody strangle him and make it look like he's dead. Like he does these things to to really get that over, which I like. I mean, he's very cerebral in the way that he thinks about his approach to his character. The fact that he does not care about his own well-being is all just part of it. It's a shoot. And the best part about it is when if you wanted to just have a regular match with Darby, he can do that. He's very good.
Oh yeah,
and all the fundamentals and stuff, which normally you and I we've seen so many guys over the years that are, when they're daredevils, that's all they do.
Sure.
Jeff Hardy, perfect example of that. But you look at Darby and like, he could wrestle, but he's so small, there's no money in that. He'd rather do this other thing, the skateboarder with the suicide, tendencies. So like that works for him.
He bumps like a skateboarder. Like, I don't know if you skated, vet, and like
no.
I blew my ankles out when I left team sports before I got into theater and while I was doing theater. Like, when you fall as a skater coming off a ramp or you hit a curb, you need to be able to let your body go as loose as you can as your momentum's going forward. So the more you try and stop yourself, the more fucked up you're going to be picking gravel out of your hands and shit, as opposed to rolling with the fall and the punch. And the way he's incorporated that into his dives or whatever he's doing, cannonballs on a, tree of woe on somebody or whatever, it looks and feels just like that. And that's really what makes him different in ring than anybody else. And he's doing it because he's light enough that it's maybe not the safest way, but he's not really going to fuck somebody up too bad doing it. They did a good one on there where he had Brody King down on the outside, did it through the middle, that just huck his body, and Brody King was just getting up off of one, gave him his back, and he hit Brody King and dropped like a fucking stone, but it was enough cushion to stop his momentum, and it looked great, bro. It looked really, really good. So I think this is, when you say styles make matches, we've said that plenty of time. I think these two guys match up really well. And of course, they'll overbook it. Here comes Rusev. Aleister Black will cut him off. They'll fuck off to do their business. Maybe Buddy Murphy or somebody's in there and he gets fucked off by somebody. But I could see Julia Hart popping up out of nowhere doing the Black Mist on Darby and having Brody go over.
Maybe somebody will finally get the Black Mist in their eyes this time.
Yeah, Rusev took a good one, but that was about it. Miyu Yamashita versus Thunder Rosa. Obviously, yeah, Miyu Yamashita.
Me, you, Ben Vent.
Yeah. A lot of heat on the. Can't believe I'm about to say this. The Joshis between.
You said Joshis.
The back and forth. Joshi was my favorite DCW wrestler. He was great.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, whether it's Kenny Omega going back and forth with Cornette or whatever, and we've seen a lot of these girls try and do things that are just abhorrent, the little thing that comes in and does the pop singer. It's a joke to even watch her work, or any Rio or Mio or whatever the fuck her name is. They're rotten. This girl, Miyu Yamashita, put on a pretty solid little match. I mean, there was a couple of botchy things and things I didn't like that were in there strong style wise, but a lot of the stuff looked good, and this seemed like a real competition here. Again, though, why are we giving people who are not on our roster regularly spots on our main fucking TV show between Roosh and Blue Sky and now Miyu Yamashita? We've just given people who are under contract their spots.
It's got to be because for whatever reason they want to, they're hoping to, with this cross promotional thing, to get some eyes on whatever that jerk off promotion that Yamashita's from, as a favor to Kenny or whatever, because Yamashita's not from like one of the good promotions like Stardom. She's from that one that what's her name's from, the Fired Idol. What's her name?
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I already forgot her name. But so yeah, that's like the equivalent of a CZW or a GCW over there, not the real good workers. So that's what I guess that's what Kenny can do, because I don't think he's on good terms with New Japan, so he can't get the Stardom girls or whatever, or anybody good, so he has to bring over these other ones. So
why are any of these girls getting a shot? Why isn't Jamie Hayter getting a shot?
I don't know. Well, again, it could only be for some political reason. That's the only reason that it could possibly be.
That's an interesting thing, because all right, so let's say it is that for whatever reason.
Maki Ito, that's what Cujo. Thank you, Maki Ito.
Thank you. Now I want sushi. Thanks, Bill. But what does that do to your locker room? And this is something overall, because we got plenty of friends there, and it seems like it went from the underground cool kids to where politics got involved, and now the former underground cool kids are no longer in charge. And when you make moves like this in a women's locker room, what happens between a Ruby Soho, a Tony Storm, a fucking Jamie Hayter, a Britt Baker, a Serena, a Mercedes Martinez, Thunder Rosa? Like, this girl comes in and they're not on TV that week when they should be in an ongoing storyline getting highlighted the right way. But it's because Kenny's doing some weird fucking favor for whoever his buddies are there, you know what I mean? Or the Yakuza that are going to kill his family or something. Maybe it's that at that level. Who knows? You will put Yamashita on TV, or we will kill your family. Okay. But like, there is that's going to breed more politics, resentment, and whispers in your locker room. And I know among the guys' side, it's definitely like that already. And I'm sure with the girls, it's been that way.
No doubt. Who knows? But it is kind of weird. But that's the only thing. There's no necessarily business sense for AEW to do it. They've got plenty of people that have to sit out this episode, so that this one woman can get her moment in the sun. I don't necessarily agree with it, but
yeah,
it's got to be something like, they're hoping to do something with, with that promotion going forward.
Yeah, and she did a much better job than most of these girls do. I will say, what's the girl Serena had the fucking feud with?
Oh, Hikaru Shida.
I always want to call her Hari Krishna, but I know that ain't right. Hikaru Shida. She can work. This girl did a good job too. I'm not going to say she didn't, but to even put her on TV is going to be more trouble than it's worth in locker room morale. You're making a problem where there didn't need to be one.
Yeah.
Winner and still champ Thunder Rosa after she hits the fire Thunder Driver. Then both ladies do the samurai bow down for each other and roll it up after the match. Then we get your main event, Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia, the match everybody and nobody's been waiting for.
Yeah, nobody.
Before that, bro, I felt bad for him. Like, I guess I do and I don't. The kid had built an empathy after they got in the car accident at Buffalo, and they're New York indie guys, so they're in my fucking wheelhouse. But the promo Daniel Garcia cut before this, bro, was like, why would you put that on TV? And why wouldn't you show him of how much of a black hole of energy he was there and not getting any of the business over? And like, that never would have made it off the cutting room floor, bro. I would have showed him, be like, dude, is this what you want the world to see of you? Because I know there's more in you. I need a reason. I need fire, passion, like main event, fear. What is it? What's driving you? The promo he cut beforehand was brutal, bro. I wouldn't even have put that on DCW.
Yeah. Cujo62 says Garcia is not a main eventer at all. I disagree. I think that if you look at the amount of Roman Reigns main events that we've had in 2022 and the amount of Daniel Garcia main events we've had in 2022, I think we could say that Daniel Garcia stacks up just a little bit higher than the Tribal Chief in terms of main eventing.
Will you fucking stop?
I didn't say they were good main events. I just said he was on the main event. Yeah, I've never.
I'm the head of the table, the Tribal Chief.
You are Daniel Garcia. This is amazing. Like, I don't know how, I don't know any other way to say it other than stop making me watch main events with Daniel Garcia in them. Even if I don't have anything against the kid, it's just not your spot. You can't. Nobody wants this. You weren't even. You weren't the main event. You were buried in the middle of that Ring of Honor card with Wheeler Yuta, so you're not a main eventer. That's where you belong, buried in the middle somewhere. I don't know. That's no offense to the guy. Again, I say this often, but it's like I have two different messages. I have a message for the talent, which to Daniel Garcia is, hey, kid, get your money, get as much as you can, and do everything you can and get out alive. My message to the promotions is, what are you doing? Why are you putting this kid on TV? He doesn't need to be here. I don't know. So I'm not... I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm not asking them to take anything away from him, but I am puzzled at why they think that of all the guys that could just keep being in the main event, and has been since he got there. It's not like he worked his way up to the main event. As soon as him and those 2.0 guys got there, they were like main event angles, always closing the show. I don't know how well that's done for them, really.
I guess everyone, if you need to push, get in a near fatal car accident, and you'll be at the top of the main event. Like,
is that all it is? Is it just a sympathy push? Who are the other guys in the car? Can they be in the main event on Dynamite too?
2.0 guys.
They were in the car? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was different guys.
I think one other one. I think one of the 2.0s and two other guys from Buffalo. But yeah, man, like I agree with the vet. You're in the main. You fucking do what you need to do, but you got to give the audience at home the reason why, or even talk about the main event of it's being such an unbelievable spot for you and the ride you've been on, and that you're facing legendary Daniel Bryan. Don't be an equal tough guy when you're not made. You know what I mean? There's plenty there to jump on to make it a baby thing. Now, Daniel Bryan off of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, noticeably 15 pounds, 10 pounds lighter. And I don't know that did he seem like different to you? Like not necessarily not with it, but like just not the same energy or like lost behind his eyes a little bit.
Ooh,
like,
Bryan?
Yeah. And then,
I thought he was working that fake concussion.
Well, he works the head thing, but what is a fake concussion? Is a boy who cried wolf? Like, how are you supposed to tell this guy's perma fucked? And we're doing pile drivers, we're doing DDTs on the concrete, we're doing bumps on the outside on the fucking steps. Like, why is anybody letting Daniel Bryan take head and neck heat at all?
You're not going to tell him no at this point.
I'll gladly tell him no.
No, not you, but the people that are they're going to go with whatever he thinks. And that's probably the real reason why we're seeing Daniel Garcia in this main event. They're probably like, well, who do you want to work when you come back, Brian? He's like, I probably want to work Daniel Garcia because he'll probably be safe and not hurt me. Whatever he thinks. Now, to me, two things. Number one, I want to, what would have made this better is if we had Daniel Garcia is one of the names, if you remember, that when they were just starting, before it had a name, the Blackpool Combat Club, that's one of the names that Danielson threw out to try to entice Moxley as who the guys we should be taking under our wing, and Garcia was one of them. They have not followed up on that story, but the story should be them trying to pull him out of the JAS. That should be the story. And if that were even a little bit told in this match, then it would have been like, okay, I see. But they didn't do it. Second thing, about working the concussion thing. Were you there, Ben, when Rip would have Mario do the fake paralyzed?
That was my first month.
Right. Now, how many of those did you end up seeing?
Just the last one.
Okay. Well, the first time that I saw
he really got hurt and blew his leg out. And he was done. I don't mean to laugh at Mario Baccara blowing his leg out, but I saw the fake one and then he got fucked over. Yeah, and to this day, I'm not sure if that one was real either. If he just wanted to leave, but yeah, I saw that they did the spot. For the people that obviously wouldn't know, because only the people in the building would know. But when we were doing practice or drills or something, Rip would have this guy. You may have seen him, Mario Boccara. You may have seen him in Impact. He teamed with Falaba most recently. That's the last time I saw him and other stuff. But anyway, yeah, Mo the Mug Sexton, however you know this guy. He would have him do something where he would, appear to be paralyzed in the ring after taking a bump of some kind, and just during drills or practice or whatever. And then he would get this whole thing where everybody was worried or whatever, and we would all crowded around, and people were checking on him and stuff like that, and it made him think that he was paralyzed. He was saying I can't move, all this other stuff. And then of course, he'd be fine, after several worrisome minutes. And then the Rip's point was, if you sell it, you can make people believe anything, which I guess is a good lesson. I personally didn't like that. I didn't like being worked like that, because I don't need to be taught that lesson. I already believed that way before I ever got into wrestling. I know you can sell anything and people will believe it. I've seen how stupid people are, but I've also seen that you can do it to smart people as well. So I didn't appreciate that lesson. So the first time, I was worried. The second time he did it, I just rolled my eyes and waited for it to be over, because I couldn't believe he was doing it again. That was working.
And my point is, I don't think that you should take things serious like that and turn those into works just for a random TV match or even for a major angle. Danielson has had enough of this kind of shit surrounding him in his life, and most recently, that's why he's been gone. So I don't think we need to immediately come back and start putting in our mind, as we're watching a fake, phony match, that he's really hurt in the match, but then the match continues to go on, even though we know that if this shit were real, it'd be stopped immediately. Sorry, everybody go home. We're canceling, Rampage.
Matt Hardy fucking took the big bump his first week there, and Tony comes out, gives him, "Are you okay? I give you a concussion test." Sure, finish the match, bro. So I get that he's working it, and the Mario stuff definitely resonates, but dude, I think this guy is perma-concussed, and they're just letting him go out there and do what you're saying. Who do you want to work? Daniel Garcia. Okay, Daniel Bryan wants to work Daniel Garcia. Is that a money draw that's going to bring in one viewer? obviously Daniel Bryan can get carte blanche to do what he wants to work these under guys who've got no following. And then much like Moxley being the hog in the beginning, that's a hog move on the end, because Daniel Bryan should go, if I'm the main event, I should be fucking working other main eventers in a big program that's going to draw for everybody. Me working him is just me going, see, I helped get the boys over and did business for the younger generation. That don't draw one fucking ticket or fan or keep anybody interested. That's hog shit, bro. Like, that's just eating because you want to fucking, passed it on to the next generation. That's me. Instead of going, my value of what they hired me for is to be this. CM Punk, my value is to have a feud with Colt Cabana and bring reality into this shit. Will they do it? Nope. It's just more dudes sucking a paycheck who think they're doing business, but they're really just doing self-edification.
Yeah. Well, I think, Danielson seems like a good guy. I'm sure his intentions are pure, but you have to understand that in some
show that don't make the best wrestling story.
No, it doesn't. And besides that, you have to understand that sometimes you help or you hurt more than you help with things like this, because then you got guys saying what we're saying. Why is he like, we're turning on Garcia simply because he's on the show, and like that's what Danielson must be missing, because him thinking, I want to help get this kid over, that's very noble, but it's not this way. Just him going over in a match makes people scratch their head like,
well, you laid out as 10 times better, because they established it in an early promo. Wheeler Yuta should be Moxley's Padawan.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Garcia should be Bryan Daniels' fucking Padawan. And they all train, but they happen to train a little bit more each with each other. Then we get the match in-house. Who's the best up-and-comer in the Combat Club? Wheeler Yuta faces both Moxley and Daniel Bryan, gets beat by both of them. Daniel Garcia, the same thing. And then we get to the point in their training where they have to spar and face each other, and it's Snake Eyes and fucking Storm Shadow. Dude, like, it's that easy to lay out. Instead, they're like, I was over for 10 years. I'll just wrestle this kid and sell his shit and let him get shit on me, and then that means he's made. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I mean, allegedly, maybe this was Tony Khan's idea, and Danielson was against it, and he was like, just do it. Let's just get through. What they always say, let's just get through this week.
Yeah.
Maybe that. We don't know what really happens, but we're just trying to explain and paint a picture for you guys of like, there's different ways to go about getting the results that you want. There's multiple right ways to do things. There's good, better, best, depending on people's opinions, and people can go back and forth on all this stuff. But I think anybody that can sit and listen to what we just said can agree that if you want to get Daniel Garcia over, there are at least 2 different better ways to do it than just throw him in another main event and get people rolling their eyes just to go over on a guy in his comeback.
That's good, better, or best?
That is, that's a little below good.
Yeah. So we got some definite punch-ups to make, and the guys who should be fucking leading the team by example are setting a bad example. And the amount of space we're giving to acts that aren't under contract and aren't doing long-term business is going to breed disdain in your locker room. It could be a very interesting time going forward as politics really invades the AEW locker room, and Tony's isolated himself from the fucking Two Kids Club, Too Sweet Club a while ago, and now it's a different ball game of wrestling. I just feel a different tension in the air when I watch these shows a little bit.
Yeah, it could end up being something good, it should be good in the long run if he's not listening to those kids anymore.
It could be.
I say kids as they're almost 40, but
then I see these things, and you're like, well, he's letting Moxley and Bryan do whatever they want unabashed, and those 2 guys should be saying, how do we make the best show possible for 2 hours for the overall experience? And what I saw last night doesn't fit in that fucking hat whatsoever. getting color in the opener, doing dives and falsies, and then having a kid in the main event that isn't going to hold your audience there and not doing any storyline business along with it, just giving them the win does not do anything, bro.
Well, I would like to see what I would like to see going forward. We've done the experiment where you put the main event on first. We've done that a lot of times. I don't really think there's an appreciable trend that you can follow to say that that's successful. So how about you switch it, put Daniel Garcia in the openers and put the main event in the main event and see if people will stick around. They just might. If you give them something to wait for, they might wait for it. Let's try it for at least a couple of months and see if it does any better. Because we've seen, where stuff will just spike up, here and there, and you're like, I wonder why they watch this week more than the other. I think a lot of times when we look at the ratings for the show, we're thinking about it's the ratings for the show we just watched. Whatever the ratings for this show are, they're going to be based on what people saw the previous week. What we were talking about with the rap battle and all that other stuff. That's what tunes in the people to watch this week. Like, oh, did I miss something? I need to check it out. Or no, that sounds terrible. I'm not going to watch it. It's always the week behind, that you're looking at these ratings. So whatever ratings we get for this episode, it's going to be based on last week. And whatever we get next week's episode, that's going to be like, well, that's who turned in for a Fight for the Fallen, and we're not impressed with another Daniel Garcia main event.
How about that, Fat? Seems every other week we got Fighter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, like all these things that seem like a pay-per-view name, but they're just happening on Wednesday night. That's lowering the juice of your special events too, because now All Out is just another name, or All In, whatever, just like Fighter Fest that happens on a Wednesday. So I think that's a mistake, bro. Like rebranding these Dynamites like mini pay-per-views.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It seemingly lessens the value, but that one,
Quake by the Lake.
Yeah, Quake by the Lake.
Who needs their hands chopped off for that terrible fucking marketing decision?
I don't know. I take them to task for enough. I'm not going to nitpick on their little weekly branding stuff. If they want to make up a cute name for their show, that's really not going to make one difference one way or the other. I don't think it really influences the audience, but it does give us a chance to, at the very least, Ben, you and I can see something like Quake by the Lake and go, heh. And that's it. That's good enough for me. That's all I need.
I can't wait for Jingle Brawl.
Jingle Brawl. That's coming. Don't give them any ideas.
No, that's every indie has fucking Jingle Brawl. Christmas Chaos. Oh my. Fuck, man. But I appreciate you ultimately, Vet, for all the work you do here, whether it's with the VBC on the Impact Attack, with Big Ray on the Next Level. I was going to ask you, how about the broad with the skateboard that broke in half, the Illuminati skateboard?
My heart broke for her because that kind of shit. I said this, Ben, what do you think about this? I said, hey, instead of doing all your overly gimmick phony bullshit, how about you take a skateboard and just whack her? And then people can hear it because they're in the building and they'll be like, ooh, I bet that hurt. Does it have to be some over dramatic shatter into pieces? And Ray was like, do you think that was symbolizing like the shattering of the friendship? I was like, that's way too high art for fucking developmental WWE. Let's just go with the whacking. How about that?
They had the checkerboard Illuminati. Let me play into it because there are no mistakes in comedy, only gifts as far as that goes. So a botch spot like that, if she wanted to, could get her over, not just from the Botchamania stuff, but we play into that. So now it becomes comedy, but because we're already fucked, because we're exposed. Next week, she's backstage. She leans on the wall collapses, and she goes right through it. Everything she touches crushes in her grip and turns to shit that she's got some superhuman strength where it just happens like she'll sit in a chair, it's going to break no matter what, dude. Like, that's just what it is. How many ways can we heighten and explore that botch in comedic ways?
Let's use that Disney relationship to get over the She-Hulk Disney Plus show that's coming in August.
There you go. Get it all over, man, for sure. But I appreciate you, Vet, man, filling in here last minute for Art of Be the V. I know you wanted to talk some AEW today, but had some family stuff he's dealing with as well. So I also want to say thank you. I know we were 56 strong, 52 strong here at twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel for the free giveaway value added bonus. Obviously, this is on channelattitude.com exclusively. We like to go live to hang with the HMGGG unit and, and see what you guys got to say. The watch alongs have been awesome. But to see the numbers keep going up, we appreciate that. And especially if you're a Channel Attitude subscriber, you're the ones who keep the lights on, man. It's tough running your own media company, but because of you guys and supporters like you guys, that's the reason why we can keep doing this crazy shit. I also want to say thanks to everyone who sent good vibes when the Emperor, my dad, had fallen about 3 weeks ago and broken his leg. He just got out of the hospital last night and he's back home. Doing really well. Just happy to be back in the palace, and I just wanted to give a quick update there and say thank you to everybody who sent their well wishes. I usually don't share a ton of stuff, but while he was actually in the rehabilitation facility for his leg, all the AEW or A&E WWE biography things. So he's seen Brett versus Shawn, Undertaker. He's been watching. For a guy who doesn't watch much pro wrestling, he's got a good look into what's going on. So it'll be good to go and see him and hang and bang for a little while, man. But I just wanted to show my appreciation to everybody who sent their well wishes that way. So Vet, what's going down with you, homie?
Oh, well, you can find me all the usual places, like you said, the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray. We got Impact Attack with Brandon and Colin. A little Colin list this week, and we'll see what's going on with that going forward. He's got some stuff we got to work out, but I'll always be there. Doing guest shots on things like Light the Fuse or the Smack Attack. You never know when the Vet's going to pop up and talk about it. It's been a slow news week, Ben. Yeah. There's nothing much to talk about, really.
Yeah. Well, I love having your voice on all those because there's plenty to talk about every single day with what's been going on.
Yep. Even dipping into the PWC and working with Jimmy T on some stuff. Nice. That's where I talked about last week's Dynamite. Did the skirmish with him, and let's see what else do I got. Oh, and don't forget, guys, if you didn't end up checking it out, it's on YouTube for everybody to see. But Ray and I sat down with Stevie Richards and talked about some stuff regarding Ray's had some health issues recently. He wanted to sit and talk to Stevie about what are the kind of things that can kind of get the ball rolling on a new path and making a change. And we tacked that on to our Next Level Wrestling Review as a pre-recorded, but we also separated out. So you can just go to YouTube, Hamin Media Group, and check that out with us two sitting down with Stevie. I want to thank Stevie again for doing that. And I thanked Stevie and Ben individually, privately, for their work on the Raw review. If you guys did not heard the Raw review with Vince Russo this week, these guys fucking cut a promo on Kevin Dunn and what's the kid? Bruce Pritchard. That you've all got to hear it if you haven't heard it already, because as I was sitting there listening to it, I was just like, it just gave me such a satisfying feeling. I'm like, yes, this is what I would say if I could put my words together in such a manner. This is what I want everybody to hear. So that was awesome, and thank you guys for that. Is there anything else going on with me? I think that pretty much covers it. At Opinion Haver everywhere if you want to follow me on social media. And thanks for allowing me on your show this week, man.
Always, brother. Such great insight. Always great to connect with you. And thank you for those messages when you're in the cut. And it sucks to go against Vince because I love him so much and he's always so welcoming with things. But I have to give an honest opinion from a different perspective. And my interactions with Bruce have been very minimal at developmental a couple times. And we're all humans. I'm not trying to fucking judge people, but I have to say what I see in an overall business sense. And, the people I know that they left in the wake of their own greed needed to be spoken up for a little bit too. So
it was brilliant. It was what you said was brilliant. And I sincerely mean that. I'm not, I don't need to kiss your ass. You know that I don't. You'll be the first to tell everybody I certainly don't.
I'm usually the most scared of your opinion.
But the thing about it is to Vince's point, look, even with all that stuff that you guys said, you don't have to fire them. they can be useful, but their roles need to be minimized and reduced. Like, it needs to be redirected the right way. You don't have to put them out on the street, which they wouldn't be anyways, but I'm just saying, like, you let Bruce needs some sleep. That's what he needs.
Dude,
because he's been a lapdog for however many years, and it's been at the beck and call. Like, it's like, you know, you remember in The Simpsons, Mr. Burns, Smithers ringing the bell, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's been like for Bruce. And as much as he loves Vince, he needs a break. He's got to, you know, he's got somewhat of a life. So if you reduce his role but still let him do what he's best at, you know, and Kevin Dunn, just tell him how you want him to shoot the show, and he'll do it. He ain't going to be in no position to argue with you.
I think we're missing out. I think the show is Dunn, maybe Ace, Deuce, and Vince. They hit the road, and Dunn has the camera, and it's the boys going to be the boys. They had enough of this shit, and it's those guys on the road doing everything from skydiving to wrestling alligators to trying the first hamburger and doing like all that shit, buddy. Like, let's just see some old crazy fuckers who are on a power trip that way. Let them go and have some fun. But
well, I wouldn't watch it, but sure, go ahead, let them do that.
Hey, dude, Legends House was over. Like, how do you do out Legends?
Yeah, but I like those guys.
Yeah, man. So I like hanging with you guys here live for Light the Fuse. Big shout out to all the producers: Kaz, El Plaja, RBV, Colin Wysong, Big Ray all day, Opinion Haver, my man, Let's Go Brandon, or whatever, identifying Let's Go Brandon, you know, and the rest of the posse, DJ Mass Effects, Dr. Jargo. I saw Billy Ray Valentine was in the chat, and all you out there are too many to mention, but appreciate you. You know who you are. So, y'all, infidels, we lit it up for Strangler, Steve King, Timmy Baltimore, Chris Silvio, and the kayfabe dojos around the world. It's the vet, Hacker Hamin. We just lit the fuse.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.